So I'm gonna go ahead and trim this faceted cup that we made, this faceted tumbler. And again, I'm wetting the rim of this pot and really ensuring that it's pressed down on there. It's gonna create a grip and allow it not to sort of just like fly off the wheel head. In this particular pot, I'm gonna maybe approach trimming a little bit different. I'm gonna start on the outside using my large ribbon tool and really taking off some of the excess of this pot. One of the reasons I'm doing that is because the body of this pot really has that nice faceted shape. And the very bottom of this pot, I have a lot of clay. So one of the things that I really like to do is make the bottom sort of like round and more symmetrical, and then leave the very sort of like top 90% of this pot with that faceted shape. And I like that transition, the way that that looks. So again, I really like to having tall foots on my pots, so I leave a lot of excess clay on the very bottom of it, and that allows me to have more control in trimming the excess of this to look the way that I want, okay? All right, so I'm almost done with the outside of this, and I really want to ensure that I have a nice profile on the outside, because when I'm done with this, I really am hoping to not come back and trim away any excess, but really to just work on the very interior of the foot and the very flat bottom of it, okay? So now I'm gonna take off some of this excess here. Again, I wanna round off this edge. Even if you have something that like looks straight, you really don't want sort of like an excess thin layer or like a 90-degree angle or something really flat here, because it could potentially very easily nick. Okay, so I'm almost done here. Okay, all right, now I'm gonna go ahead and trim away the interior of this foot. So again, I'm gonna use this flat side of my tool and I'm gonna go in at an angle. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine, writing pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack, Mr. Magic Molly Mall. To my tape knock, sipping on private stock, way back when I had a red and black lumberjack with a hat to match. So now let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like. So here's the interior of the foot. I really like this transition here because when you have the round edge against the faceted edge, it creates this transition that looks very purposeful. It's sort of like a round versus a flat. And one of the things I really love that my former professor Chris Daly used to say is, you don't really know how round something is unless it's against something flat. And you don't know how flat something is unless it's right opposed to something that's next to something that is round. So this is sort of an example of that, where these two things sort of operate to create like this really nice dissonance right next to one another, okay? All right, so here is the cup as a whole. I will go ahead and clean this up a little bit just with my hands. I'll use my fingers to transition this. I talked a little bit about having that nice beveled edge to drink from, but if you look at this from an angle, you'll see that the very top of the lip also has this interesting shape that looks a lot like a nut for a bolt. All right, so here's trimming faceted cups.